am Kay Zadie Buckler. I was part of the second graduating class from Northside in 1976, the bicentennial year, and I came to the school in 1974 and went into 10th grade and skipped 11th and went on to 12th. I was the shortest, the youngest, and of course my last name started with Z when I graduated. So I originally came from Jamaica, and I came from an all-girl Catholic school that had British nuns. So it was a very strict environment, and I truly enjoyed Northside, having boys and girls in the class and being able to wear blue jeans and polo shirts. Every morning, my principal rode a motorcycle into school, and life was good. I rode home telling all my friends, boy, Vance Lacour was the most awesome principal, and Max Gessner was our superintendent at that time. Northside was located off of Pasadena Avenue in St. Petersburg. We were on Mango Street, which was at the very end of the road. And our school was modulars. We had lots and lots of modulars at that time. And we were small then, but we were powerful. We excelled in band, sports, academics, and the faculty was handpicked. I cannot tell you the impact that some of the teachers had on many of our lives. At that time, I was asked to draw the Mustang for the school by Coach Cornfield, and I went ahead and drew it, and it was used throughout the school for several years. This is the first Mustang you had, and I still have my jersey. So I was very honored to have done that, and I have never really told anyone, but today I would like to let you all know I'm very, very proud and honored to have started the school out with the first horse. So I thank God for my parents sending me to Northside. All those years they sacrificed, and it made such a difference in my life. I will forever be grateful, and I must say I'm proud to say that I'm part of the alumni class of 1976.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 50th anniversary of Northside Christian School.
And we are going to be your hosts for tonight, and my name is Melody Moon Thomas. And I'm Melinda Moon Burtz.
And I'm Melissa Jill Moon. And just to give you an idea of what we've been up to lately, Melody is still in the area. She's a college professor.
And Melinda lives in Orlando, and she's a retired RN. And Melissa lives in Memphis, Tennessee, and she's a journalist, TV journalist.
And our other sister couldn't be here tonight because she and her husband are living in Finland right now, which is probably a good idea because I don't think we could fit another person up here. But we are just so honored to be here tonight to celebrate this milestone. It's been so nice to see all the familiar faces out there and to catch up what we can. And going through some of my dad's stuff, ahead of time we found this newspaper, Northside to begin Christian school, am I too loud? This September. And we know that this was just such an exciting time for the church and for the community. And in making his case for a Christian school, my dad told church leaders, among other things, he believed parents wanted a school where there's a better discipline, more rigorous academics, a place where history is not distorted, where children are taught to love their country, and learning is biblically based. How relevant that really is for today.
And now I'd like to introduce to you the pastor of Northside Baptist Church. Am I saying the wrong thing?
No, you're right.
Yeah, the current senior pastor, Chad Scarborough.
Good evening. Good evening and welcome. My name is Chad, and I'm the middle school baseball coach at Northside Christian School. Before I introduce our opening prayer, I just want to say a word. In a world of sin and sickness, in a world of death and disease, in a world of problems and pandemics, listen to these words tonight. Jesus saves. Jesus saves. For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation for all who would believe, for the Jew first and also for the Gentile. That means even people who go to Keswick can be saved. Which is a perfect segue into my introduction of Mr. Jack Wilson tonight. Jack is with us tonight, one of the original signers of the whatever it's called, the first year when the school was envisioned and all of it came together. Mr. Jack Wilson, while teaching art and physical education at Keswick, and bless his heart, Pastor Darren Mulholland was in his class. While he was teaching there, he says a number of us were motivated to start a second Christian school because the demand versus public education was so great. So once we had set up and established the school, he says, I turned in my resignation at Keswick. And by the way, it's Keswick, there's a W in there. He says, I turned in my resignation at Keswick and started teaching art and physical education at Northside Christian School. I also coached the girls' softball team, the boys' basketball team, and the football team. I taught there for 2 years while finishing up my Master's of Education degree from USF. Then, he and his family left for 28 years to serve our Lord in East Africa. Also, for me, most importantly, Mr. Jack Wilson and Dr. Ernie Rinke taught my third child last fall how to shoot and kill a hog. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to Mr. Jack Wilson.
I asked Pastor if I should pray in Swahili or English. So I thought maybe I would start off in Swahili and then switch over to English, okay? We want to commit this time to the Lord. Let's pray. Baba yetu, tumekuja hapa kusema asante sana kwa miaka hamsini. Father, you have blessed this school over the past 50 years, and we want to say thank you. To God be the glory. It was such a privilege to start out at Keswick and then switch over to Northside Christian School back in the early 70s. We have kept up with so many wonderful staff and students over the years, and you've brought us all together tonight to celebrate 50 amazing, wonderful years. You've been the center of it all, and we want to make sure that it continues on that way for the next 50 years or until you return to take us home. We're looking forward to that day. We ask your blessing upon everything that is said and done this evening. Help each one of us to be aware of your presence in this building and in our lives as we live and walk daily with you. We commit this evening's time to you now in the precious name of the Lord Jesus. Amen.
This is not a fundraiser, but we understand that some people have been trying to make a donation using the little code on the back of their place card note. For some reason, it's not working, so it's not just you. So if you want to give, we ask that you make that donation online. Northside Christian School started back in 1971 by Northside Baptist Church, but what you may not know that in the 1930s, Northside Baptist Church was actually located on the corner of 5th Avenue North and 5th Street. That's right, Northside Baptist sat where most of y'all parked your cars tonight. I didn't know that.
The church sold the property to the owners of the Coliseum in 1957 after purchasing 5 acres of ranch land on 38th Avenue and 66th Street, which is the current location and would become the first location of Northside Christian School. Nearly 200 students in kindergarten through ninth grade reported on the first day of our school's 50-year history. The exact date was September 7th, 1971.
If you attended, taught, or were a part of Northside Christian School's inaugural year, we would like you to please stand. Thank you all so much. Before we continue, we want to show you a short clip from Diana Burgess, who attended Northside Christian School in the 70s.
Hi, I'm Diana Hartz Burgess from the class of 1980. I started at Northside in 6th grade, and we were at the St. Pete campus on 38th Avenue where the church is. Then we went to the South Pasadena campus, and then finally got to go to the beautiful new campus where Northside Christian School is today, and actually where my grandkids attend and my daughter-in-law works. I have great memories of being involved in all the sports and all the fine arts and rangerettes and chamber singers. I learned a great deal there that enabled me to do well through my grad school in nursing, but one of the greatest things that Northside provided me was foundational truth through the Word of God, which was shared through Bible class and in all of our classes. I have great friends, I have great memories. I think the single best memory was bringing home the first state championship to Northside Christian School, the girls softball team in 1978. So thankful for Northside Christian Schools.
Well, from the beginning, Northside Christian School excelled in sports and fine arts. However, our first state title came just 7 years after we opened, and it was the girls who won, not the boys. Imagine that.
Tonight, we are blessed to have with us the coach of the 1978 state championship girls softball team, Pam Hendricks. Pam, would you stand? And any other players that were on that team, could you stand too, please?
There we go.
Kay Sheck was also on that team, and Kay was the first ever Mustang to be part of our prestigious 1,000 point for basketball, and that was without 3-point lines. That was pretty amazing. Northside has always been strong in the arts. In our first musical, Camelot, it was staged in the cafeteria in 1978. Our first state marching band title was in 1980. One talent at the school at the time was Nancy Wiebe Mazurowski, who went on to be a professional singer. She could not be with us tonight, but she sent us the video of a 70s gem, He's Alive.
Back inside the house again, the guilt and anguish came. Everything I promised him just added to my shame.
before we wrap up the 70s, we want to recognize our first graduating class. Back then, the upperclassmen were not taught at the church, but down at Mango Avenue.
And they had a principal, we'll tell you more about later in the program, who would wear cowboy boots and show up to school like James Dean on his motorcycle. Y'all know who that is? If you graduated in the 70s or taught in the 70s at either the church or the South Campus, we would love for you to stand and be recognized. And to finish off the 1970s, we have asked the first employee ever hired by Northside Christian School to share a few words. Miss Mary Brandon said she happened to be my teacher twice.
"50 years ago, I was the first teacher hired to help launch Northside Christian School with a mission to provide a quality Christian education. That year, my classroom at the church faced the courtyard, but they were building the new sanctuary there. And so I tried teaching second graders. At that time was a bit challenging with all of the noise from the construction. I remember that being a very special year, and I had just an amazing group of children under my care. And one day, a young, larger than his age, really, young boy came bouncing into my room, and he goes, Miss Tibbetts, did you hear that Governor Wallace was shot last night? And now he's sterilized from the waist down." That was the first of a million funny stories that I could tell. One of my most embarrassing moments that year is one that had to do with, one of the host's relatives. I had the Moon twins that year, and one of them was rather chatty. And so after a number of times trying to get her to be quiet, I brought her up to my desk and put a piece of tape over her mouth. Let me tell you, having done that to the pastor's daughter, I bemoaned it for years. It's like, what was I thinking? I finally was able to run into her a few years ago, and I said, "Jan, I am so sorry I did that to you. I just can't believe it." She goes, "I don't remember." So I carried guilt for a long time, but it must not have hurt too badly because now she talks for a living as a journalist. My early years of teaching were really made more special because I was working with Barbara Woodson. We shared teaching responsibilities, prayed together for our students, and challenged each other to be the best that we could be. But honestly, one of my favorite memories was dragging our old metal chairs out onto the asphalt playground, the church parking lot, and we would sit there and decide what we were going to cook for our newlywed husbands for dinner that night. I also met my husband, Russ, that year, and we got married, and I invited my whole class to the wedding, and most of them came. Speak of meeting future mates at Northside, I'm happy to share that my recently graduated granddaughter, who is actually graduating from college in May, just got engaged to a young man that she met at Northside who started liking her in second grade. But she didn't start liking him until fourth. Now, they didn't always date through high school, but when they got into college, they reconnected. And he told me one day, he said, you know, even when I didn't think I had a chance of ever really dating Maddie again, he said, I still prayed for her every day. Isn't that the kind of young man you pray for? They'll be married September 10th. But they're not the only couples who connected at Northside. If you met your spouse at Northside, would you stand? Thank you. That's a pretty awesome 50-year memory. I think I matured and grew to be a better teacher over the years, and certainly my love for Northside became lifelong. From teaching to being an NCS parent, to doing a lot of fundraising, to becoming elementary principal, and then headmaster, and now an NCS grandparent, the 50 years have flown by. I think the school is going to continue to grow bigger and better in the years to come as it fulfills its mission to bring students and families to Christ and to be difference makers in the world. And I look forward to being part of that in supporting Northside in the years to come. Thank you.
Just to be clear, I didn't have my mouth taped. That was my sister. and I can tell you she deserved it. Well, by the 1980s, many of Northside Christian School students had transitioned from the church and the South Campus to the new middle school and high school building located at 777 67th Avenue North. The building is still in use today by the middle and high school.
In the late 70s and early 80s, Coach Cornfield was coaching most of the boys' sports at NCS, including football, baseball, and basketball. Pretty unheard of for today. If you walk into the current NCS gymnasium, the walls are lined with athletic accomplishments from our history.
It's hard to find any records left from the 1980s, but on the basketball record board, Brad Curtis is still up there in the 1,000 point club, and he's second in most points scored in a game with 49 points. And Dan Bowman is third with 42 points. Those games took place in 1983 and 1984.
And Dan may not know it yet, but he's being bumped off the board this year by a current Mustang, Junior Skylar Skull. And I believe that both Skylar's parents and the Bowmans are in attendance tonight. Are they here? Huh? And not to be outdone, the Lady Mustangs had a state champion in the 1980s. Amy Pruitt won the state in the new low hurdles in 1988.
Before we hear from 1985 grad Alan Brown, who's been serving as a missionary most of his adult life, if you graduated from Northside Christian between 1980 and 1989, would you please stand and be recognized?
Hi, I'm Alan Brown. I serve outside of Athens, Greece, the last 27 years. Class of 1985. Great memories, great teachers, chambers, concerts, the musicals, the sports activities. Great teachers like Paul Kern, Gary Smith, Mrs. Panal, and great memories. Very thankful for Northside and the impression they made in my life. And I'm very proud to be a part of the alumni. Congratulations.
praising the Lord through music was a cornerstone of the school from day one.
And tonight we have a special treat for you. Two vocalists from the 1980s, Miss Jen Kinsey, daughter of longtime elementary music teacher Ann Reynolds, and Dave Viette, son of longtime elementary principal Richard Viette.
We also have two NCS vocalists from the 1990s. Here, Tara Easel is a professional singer and music teacher and an NCS track star, and Jamie Ray is a professor at Rollins College, the founder of the vocal group Voctive, and brother to the current NCS teacher and track star Angela Goodwin.
This power quartet will be performing a couple songs that I'm sure you're going to recognize. In fact, nearly every marching band show ended with one of these songs.
So while they're getting ready, could I ask all the fabulous teachers who taught at NCS between 1980 and 1989 to stand up?
He has brought us together, each of us a different gift to bring.
We'll serve him forever, even if the cost is everything. He has called us to be faithful. So with one heart we give this offering. The reason we sing, the reason we lift our voice is more than just making harmony. The reason we sing is to praise the one who gave his son to me. The reason we sing.
More than just an emotion, His Spirit gives us joy that we can't hide. We will not be silent. We've got to let the world hear what's inside. And as we praise Him with our music, Jesus is the one we
Thank you all so much. That was wonderful. Well, tonight, I think I lost my page. Here we go. Well, in the 1990s, NCF athletics really took off. The girls' cross-country team won the state title in 1992, 1995, and 1996. Girls' track also won the state title in 1999 and 1995 and 1996, and the NCS cheerleaders won the national title in 1997.
Courtney Gabler's 100-meter time of 12.1 seconds is the only female record from the 1990s still on the record board in the gym. For the boys, Ryan Rawls 100-meter, George Roth 3,200 meters, Jonathan Villacampa in high jump, and Mark Johnson in pole vault all are still on the record board representing the 1990s.
And boys' basketball records from the 1990s still dominate the gym as well as a few girls. Who can forget Ryan Klinger, Julie Blintz, Kevin Carr, Robin Smith, Jason Adler, Breanne Harrington, Allison Matthews, or Andy Cunningham. Talented folks.
Just as important are our past administrators. James Brown was our first head of school, followed by Vance Lacour. Both of these men have since passed, but their wives are here tonight. We are joined tonight by the following heads of school. Please stand as your name is called and remain standing. Herman Van Sciver, David Bowell, Max Gessner, Kurt Thomas, Bruce Buckholtz, and Dan Patton.
And many here probably made a trip to the principal's office for something good or maybe something bad. We would like to recognize these esteemed former principals. Also, please stand and remain standing. Steve Sinclair, Gary Smith, Robert Sutton, Wayne Shimko, Larry Webster, Barbara Willey, Tom Keller, John Sadler, Mary Brandis, Pat Stewart, and Tony Horning. And Richard Viette passed away a few years ago from cancer, but his wife Sheila is here tonight and put together a short video for the spouses of all of the leaders we just recognized.
Good evening. My name is Sheila Viette. You will probably recognize the last name of Viette since there has been a Viette at Northside Christian School, either as a student, a teacher, or an administrator for over the past 40 years. I won't tell you how old that makes me feel. Please join me tonight in giving a very special tribute to all the spouses of former and current teachers, administrators, and staff of Northside Christian School. Spouses who minister in various ways, sometimes behind the scenes, to enhance the ministry of the school. They may help to prepare projects at home to be taken to the school. They may be involved in ministry projects for the school, or just support the school in any way that is needed. As a spouse of a former elementary teacher and principal, being a part of Northside's ministry over the years has given me so much joy. God has truly blessed me as a mom and a grandma to have my children and my grandsons all attend Northside and to have my son serve as a teacher at Northside for over 20 years. So, when you see a teacher, an administrator, or a staff person, just know that there is someone special behind the scenes encouraging them, praying for them, and cheering them on every day. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Sheila. And tonight we also want to recognize the teachers and staff who so faithfully served our students in the 1990s. Please stand if you taught at Northside in the 1990s. Let's see ya.
With the exception of our current school year, the 1990s saw some of the largest student population and graduation classes. The school was so large that they had to have two campuses again, one on 62nd Avenue and the other at Northside Baptist Church. If you graduated from NCS in the 1990s, would you please stand?
And our walk through the 1990s would not be complete without a word from former Principal Wayne Shimko, who led Northside Christian High School from 1989 all the way to 1997.
When they asked me if I was going to be here, and they called back and said, "Wayne, could you talk about the 90s? You have a minute." I think it lasted 10 years, not a minute. So, of course, I did the right thing. Since it's been 30 years, I went back and grabbed the old yearbooks out of the cupboard. I had some of those, and went through the yearbook saying, there's got to be some memories that'll click in here somewhere, you know? And then I was reminded why I love education so much. Education is the only job that you can have that you start over every year. Think about it. Every August you start over with a new set of faculty, a new administration, a new set of students. And really that's what makes school so much fun. And it creates the personality, and the personality of a school changes each and every year as well as in a decade. Now, some people would say it's the administration that sets that personality. And I was privileged to be in administration with Bruce Buckholtz, Mary Brandis, Tom Keller, and we had a great time together. We had more fun than the students did, to tell you the truth. And I want you to know Mary Brandis loves to go out to eat. And every Monday, while you faculty and staff and students were working, we were at Emily's having breakfast, having an administrative meeting. Some other people would say it wasn't the administration, it was the faculty, and it's so neat to see the faculty that's here, the influence of faculty and people, and especially when you start seeing, you know, students that you taught in the 80s coming back to teach in the 90s, right, Kathy Kemker? Yes, and being such a part of that, and the relationships, the coaches, and so a lot of those memories are based kind of on those people. And I always think that none of that would happen if it wasn't for the staff. And so I always appreciate the staff people that are out here who work behind the scenes, you know. The Carlbergs in the cafeteria, do you remember that? Remember those lunches? Yeah. It was fantastic, you know. And how about Roy Winkleman, who changed the cafeteria into a music stage, and we all had to eat in these little cramped places and all that kind of stuff. Remember that kind of stuff? Those are memories. And Mr. Selly, always trying to get somebody in the military academy. How about him? So, you know, staff, faculty, administration, but really a school is made up of the personality of the students. And that is usually created by the senior class. And many of you were the senior class one time. And you created personality. Now, this wasn't in the 90s, but I want you to tell you that Joy Matthews set the personality for that school year. You know, and we had a little thing when she came in the room, jump for joy. So all of those memories aren't my memories. They got to be your memories, the things that you kind of remember. And all of those are really built about friendships and relationships. And it was fun hugging people tonight, because that's what it's all about. It is the neatness of knowing that you've worked together you spent together, you shared lives together. So for all of those who lived through the 90s, 3 cheers to you. It was a fantastic journey. And we want to hold fast those memories that were there. I have to say, as an administrator who left, it has been fun watching Northside Christian School continue to prosper and influence lives over the last 20-some years that I have been gone, and pray that the Lord will continue to bless you in ministering in great ways. To God be the glory, great things he has done, they said, right? Isn't that fantastic? Well, speaking of 50 years, for NCS, there's only one person I know who's been here for 40 of those 50 years. And you're probably saying, somebody's been here for 40 years? He must really be old. And Tom Keller is. Today is his 70th birthday. This is his birthday celebration. Sing happy birthday to happy birthday. He's a guy who's built friendships and memories for just about everybody in this room, I bet. Thank you, Tom, for your service here at NCS.
Thank you so much. Well, in 2000, everyone, it seemed, was afraid of Y2K. Remember that?
We saw the introduction of technology into our classrooms. The school also welcomed new fine arts director Nathan Farrell.
Nathan was a young 20-something in 1998. He was handed the reins to a fine arts program filled with a rich history and more band championships than anyone in the state.
And he's also responsible for putting together the amazing alumni jazz band we all enjoyed during tonight's social hour. Weren't they great? Let's pause to give these musicians we already have, a round of applause. They're a hard act to follow, too, I should say. Well, he's also responsible for putting together, fast forward today, Nathan is still with us, and he has built an amazing fine arts team.
He even helped to start a worship's art class at Northside Christian School, which trains musicians and vocalists how to lead worship in chapel.
To demonstrate, we have asked two graduates from the 2000s who went on to be worship leaders in the community to lead us tonight in worship. Here are David Edwards and Callie Haskell.
Yeah, well, like they mentioned, we are worship leaders at our core, and so we want to make sure that this song here is not a performance, but rather that you guys would join in with us. You definitely do not have to stand, but if you feel led to, you totally can, and we just want you to be a part of this with us, and we chose an oldie for us, one we did regularly in chapel when we were younger, and believe it or not, the words came back like riding a bicycle. It was awesome. But we just want you guys to worship as you feel led with us tonight as we sing together.
The splendor of a king, clothed in majesty, let all the earth rejoice. All the earth rejoice. He wraps himself in light, and darkness tries to hide, and trembles at his voice, trembles at his voice. How great How great is our God. Sing with me, how great is our God. And all will see how great is our God. Age to age he stands, and time is in his hands, beginning and the end, beginning and the end. The Godhead, three in one, and Father, Spirit, Son, the Lion and the Lamb, the Lion and the Lamb. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God, and all will see how great is our God. Name above all names. Yes, you're the name above all names. You are worthy of all praise, and my heart will sing how great is our God. 'Cause you're the name above all names, and you are worthy of all praise, and my heart will sing how great is our God. How great is our God? Sing with me, how great is our God, and all will see how great is our God. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art, how great thou art, how great thou art, how great thou art. Come on.
Well, before we talk a little more about the 2000s, if you graduated from Northside Christian School between 2000 and 2009, we'd like you to please stand and be recognized. There we go.
Another iconic hire in the 2000s was Jeff Goodwin. In the 90s, track was a powerhouse at Northside, in large part due to Lisa Jones.
Lisa left us for a few years to attend seminary.
And in her absence, Jeff was hired and has once again put Northside's track on the map, unable to be with us tonight because he's at a track meet. Jeff sent the following message.
Hello, Mustang family. I'm so sorry that I'm not able to attend in person this celebration of the 50th anniversary of Northside Christian School. A track meet on the same day has thwarted my plans in yet another free meal. From moving to Pinellas County with my wife Karen and knew nothing about Pinellas County, also coaching girls basketball at a little school on 62nd Avenue, which I had never heard of. God has been carefully guiding me throughout, always placing the right people in my path at the exact moment I needed them. They were there for me. The Goodwin family are blessed to be a part of the Northside Christian family, the family who has educated and guided all three of my children, the family who has prayed over my wife and my family for protection and wellness, the family that I love with all my heart on good days and bad days. Congrats, Northside Christian School, and here's to another 50 of educating and guiding lives toward Christ and free meals. Go Mustangs!
Go Mustangs! Administrators from the 2000s through today, again, please stand when I call your name. Rick Newberry, John Wedlock, Mary Brandis, and our current head of school, Dr. Don James. Gina Burkett was our high school principal from 2004 to 2015, followed by Michael Roskamp and Brandon Elam.
Middle school principals included Lee Lockhart, Tom Keller. Elementary principals in the 2000s through today were Mark DeBee, Tom Keller, Louise Crowder-Neary, and Catherine Rotuno.
Many of the teachers who taught in the 2000s are still teaching at Northside Christian School today. If you taught at NCF in the 2000s, would you please stand and be recognized?
Well, remember when we mentioned the motorcycle riding principal back in the 1970s? That man was Dr. Vance Lacour. Not only was he one of the men at that July 4th meeting when they voted to start the school, he stayed around the halls at Northside Christian School for nearly 50 of them, passing away in 2019.
Here to share a few memories is current Northside Christian School student Charlie Farrell.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Charlie Farrell, and I am a junior, a member of the class of 2023, and it is an honor to stand before you tonight. It is in the classrooms of the elementary where I memorized the alphabet, conquered multiplication, and mastered my cursive, but it is also where I learned of a legend, a man who walked the halls of Northside, distinguishable by the heavy tap of his boots, the red, white, and blue of his shirt, and the western hat situated firmly upon his head, an all-American cowboy. It is only when I graduated from the halls of the elementary that I formally met Dr. Vance Lacour, and I can say without a shadow of a doubt that the man truly was a legend, in every sense of the word. He was a larger-than-life figure, and make no mistake, he lived his life to the absolute fullest. I vividly remember sitting in my 7th grade English class, setting my backpack down at the desk, when Dr. Lacour walked into the room, introduced himself with a smile, and announced that he would be our substitute for the day. When our class had completed the assigned vocabulary work, Dr. Lacour took the chance to give his testimony and pray over us. It was after the bell rang that Dr. Lacour came up to me and we spoke together. Having known of my brother and father, he asked about my interests in the arts. Our conversation likely lasted no longer than 2 or 3 minutes. But that 2 or 3 minute conversation became a regular occurrence every time we passed each other in the hall or met in the classroom. It was through those conversations that Dr. Lacour helped build my faith and displayed just how much he cared about building the next generation. That is what Dr. Lacour did. He poured into others. He took every opportunity to proclaim the gospel of God to those who needed it most. He instilled in me a pride of country and of spirit. I will never forget when he accompanied the band to Hawaii and stood in brave and solemn silence saluting the fallen of the USS Arizona at Pearl Harbor. He taught me to never be ashamed of my faith and to live with my head up and back straight. We owe a great debt to him, but I know the best and most proper way we can repay that debt is to carry on his mission, to go out and follow Christ's command to make disciples, to carry on the fight, to run the race, and keep the fire burning strong. I thank God for Dr. Lacour and the lessons he taught us, for the faith he shared, and for the impact he made on our lives. Thank you.
We did get started, and it was a struggle. Not only did we have to find teachers, I was on the committee, I was not on the, I was on the deacon board and on the committee that was working on this. So we had to get textbooks. We had to do some major renovations to the south building at Northside Church because it had to meet the building requirements for a school. So that called for some adaptation. And actually arranged for bus transportation. In the second year, we had bought a couple of school buses to help people get in. And by starting in July, it was difficult to find teachers that would fit into to the program and to the philosophy and to the way we wanted Northside to work. So we had a significant amount of turnover that first year as we had a little more time to find the kind of teachers we were looking for. We had a kindergarten and went through, I think, 9th grade that first year. And we bought used textbooks from the county. And our desire was to be a school that was patriotic, where the whole curriculum was biblically centered, where we would be evangelistic in our chapel services and want to see people come to Christ. That's why we chose to be an open enrollment school, so that we could have a missionary impact into the community.
Well, 2010 saw the rise of Northside Christian to its present-day glory. Several improvements have been made on the campus since 2010. The school rewarded the track team with a new 8-lane rubberized track, the gravel and mud parking lot replaced with beautiful paved parking areas, complete with decorative entry gates, and the little church school grew up to be one of the most prestigious schools in the country.
Well, athletics continued to advance, and we even hired a legendary Tampa Bay Buccaneers football player named Mike Allstott, who after 10 years is still the face of the Mustang football team. And of course, we can't forget the wrestling program led by Chris Wilmington. Chris had 6 state title winners in 8 years.
In fact, his son, Cayman Wilmington, is the only wrestler in the state of Florida to win 7 straight district titles at the varsity level. Chris could not be here tonight because, you guessed it, he's at a state meet this weekend with some of his wrestlers. Oh, he's here. Where are you? Well, there you go. That's a nice surprise. We also want to give a shout out to Coach D.J. Jackson for winning a state title in girls golf, along with 13 years of district championships.
And our marching band, under the leadership of Corey Simpson and Nathan Farrell, have made us proud. They have won 5 state titles in a row. If you are here and graduated from 2010 to today, would you please stand? One of those graduates who could not be here tonight but sent a video is Samari Turner. Take a listen.
Hello there, my name is Samari Turner. I attended Academy Prep for middle school, and then grades 9 through 12, I decided to spend those at Northside Christian School. Once I arrived at Northside Christian School, all around me I saw ample amount of opportunities, so I decided to get involved. I was involved in the track and cross country team. I was involved in student government as class secretary. I was involved in chorus, chambers, and multiple musicals, and the list just goes on from there. After graduation, I decided to pursue higher education at Palm Beach Atlantic University, where I received my bachelor's in international business. And then on campus, I was involved as a dual athlete for cross country and track, as well as multiple clubs such as Mosaic, which is similar to a multicultural club, Marine Biology Club, Finance Club, and Student Government as a House Representative. I just recently decided to go back and pursue my master's degree from Savannah State University in the Master's in Business Administration, and I did that in a 1-year track, and I just recently graduated in December. Upon graduation and looking for a career path, I stumbled upon Northside Christian School and decided to come back and teach as a substitute for Algebra 2. So that being said, Northside Christian has taught me so much. I'm so happy that you guys are celebrating your 50th, and I'm glad I can be a part of it now as a teacher. So thank you guys so much, and thank you for this opportunity to speak. Happy 50th.
Such an underachiever there. Well, Northside continues to focus on the well-rounded student through academics, athletics, fine arts, and even juggling. That's right, it is well documented. We are the only Christian school to have produced a juggling attorney. And here is that man, Dan Brown. Thanks, Dan. That was very impressive. One of the first videos from Northside Christian School to go viral was from our next guest singing at our 2015 Spring Awards.
Mrs. Hannah Artil Vandertoe was a scholar athlete who played volleyball in college, just in from New York City. Please welcome Hannah.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. It's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on a tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace till day is done, that's what I mean. And this old world is a new world, and a bold world for me. Stars when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of a pine, you know how I feel. The freedom is mine, then I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Would the teachers who taught Hannah, as well as the other employees from 2010 through today, please stand up?
Not many decades had a more dubious start than 2020. Our world was turned upside down by COVID. In the middle of the sickness and uncertainty, our teachers and students rose to the challenge.
Take a listen to this brief clip from ABC News about how our Fine Arts Department dealt with not being able to perform for another state title because of all the competitions that year that had to be canceled due to the coronavirus.
And speaking of happiness, now to a marching band for hire. Well, kind of. The Bay Area is home to one of the best high school bands in the state.
And our Sean Daly shares how they want to use some unexpected free time to play for people who could just use a smile.
All I know here is states wins. The year I joined, I was in 8th grade. We won states, and ever since then, we've been state championships 4 times in a row.
Joel Bowles plays drums in the Royal Ambassador Marching Band, the pride of Northside Christian School in St. Pete. And like the man said, they're state champs, the best of the best. But due to the pandemic, competition this year is canceled.
It is what a lot of these kids live for.
That's Nathan Farrell, Fine Arts Director at Northside Christian.
We got to thinking, how could we take what we do and be of service in our community?
The Royal Ambassadors are safely taking the show on the road.
Right now we have about 5 different facilities lined up, including the VA hospital, a senior living facility called 5 Towns, and we're looking for a few more.
To entertain veterans and seniors, they're working on a salute to the 60s. So no state championship this year, but maybe something even better.
This might be an opportunity to give these kids purpose and to give those people hope.
All right, guys, the Royal Ambassadors have a couple more spots on their traveling concert schedule. So if you know of a group of people that need a smile, let me know about it. Maybe we can get this band out there. In St. Petersburg, I am Sean Daly, ABC Action News.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nathan Farrell. I, for one, am having a really good time this evening. How about for this band, huh? Well, I'm all the way from 85 to 22 here, and man, are they making me proud. Every coach and every director, has that fantasy about, if I could just pick this kid from that year and this kid from that year and make a super band, and here they are. Fantastic. Now, this guy next to me, it's Kyle Williamson, graduated in 20, and then fall of 20 was, as the news article said, a bit of an interesting opportunity. But it turned out to be one of the things I'm most proud of in all my years here. And the band went to assisted living facilities and nursing homes all over the county, and we did a show called Love Revolution 2, for those of you that were in the first one, all 60s stuff, the stuff that those folks would like. And I think certainly the most popular item, the people that talked to us the most, was this song that you're about to hear. I think half of them got engaged to it. But here's Kyle Williamson with Unchained Melody.
Oh, my love, my darling, I've hungered for your touch a long, lonely time, and time goes by so slowly, and time can do so much. Are you still mine? I need your love. I need your love. God, speed your love to me. the sea, to the sea, to the open arms of the sea. Yeah, lonely riverside, wait for me, wait for me. I'll be coming home, wait for me. Oh, my love, my darling, I've hungered, hungered for your touch a long, lonely time. And time goes by so slowly, and time can do so much. Are you still mine? I need your love. I need your love. God, speak your love to me.
So much talent. Well, I don't know about all of you, but I think I'm feeling pretty good about the next 50 years at Northside Christian School.
Even as we celebrate tonight, our students are busy at track meets, getting ready for tests and spring break.
They're also in heavy rehearsals for the school's next epic Broadway musical, The Little Mermaid.
Now, because you guys are all here tonight, you are the first, well, outside the cast family's relatives, to have access to the tickets. You can scan the QR code on the flyer at your table, and you can grab your seat before they are all sold out. The show dates are April 7th through the 10th. And if you're still on the fence about whether you want to go see Under the Sea, performed by current NCS senior Clinton Mason. Clinton is part of the Connor clan, who has been a fixture in the fine arts community since the school began. Audrey, Beatrice, Martin, and Jamel are all here tonight to watch one of the youngest Connors. He's going to sing Under the Sea for us.
Yeah, baby! Yeah! Wham, wham!
The seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake. You dream about going up there, but that is a big mistake. Just look at the world around you, right here on the ocean floor. Such wonderful things surround you. What more is you looking for? Under the sea, under the sea. Darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me. Up on the shore they work all day, out in the sun they slave away, while we devoting full time to floating under the sea. Down here all the fish is happy, as off through the waves they roll.
The fish on the land ain't happy, they sad 'cause they in the bowl. But fish in the bowl is lucky, they ain't far away safe things. One day when the boss gets hungry,
Guess who gon' be on the plate? Under the sea,
under the sea,
under the sea,
under the sea,
nobody beat us, fry us and eat us in fricassee.
under the sea.
We what the land folks love to cook. Under the sea we off the hook. We got no troubles, life is the bubbles under the sea.
Bubbles under the sea, oh, under the sea,
Under the sea.
under the sea.
Since the life is sweet here, we got a beat here naturally. Even the sturgeon and the ray, they get the earth and start to play. We got the spirit, you got to hear it under the sea. The newt play the flute, the cup play the harp, the bass play the bass, and they sound and sharp. The bass play the brass, the trumpet play the drum. The fluke is the Duke of Soul. The rag he can play the leads on the strings. The trout rocking up, the blackfish sing. The smelt and the sprat, we know where it's at. We know that blowfish flow. It's music to me. What do they got a lot to send? We got a orchestration band. Each little clam here know how to jam here. Oh yes. Each little slug here caught in a rock here. Oh yes. Each little snail here know how to weld here. That's why it's hotter under the water. Yeah, we're not here down in the muck here. Under the sea. No, under the sea.
To end our evening, we have our current head of school, Dr. Don James.
He is also the longest serving head of school. He has been at the helm of Northside Christian School since 2010.
And before we do that, we would like to thank the committee who made tonight's program possible. Would those ladies please stand? Well done. And you notice all of these decorative booths around here representing the different years. And make sure that you find your year so you can go over there and you can take yourself a class picture. Once again, we'd like to thank you so much and let you know what an honor it has been to be here tonight and to see so many old friends.
Can we thank the Moon Sisters? This is one of those events where you really don't want it to stop. It has been just a wonderful evening of connecting and reconnecting. You know, I came in thinking we had a little malfunction with the name tags. We apologize for that, but you know, when you begin to see people, those names come back to you. And it was just wonderful to see so many people and to relive the past. 50 years, that's right. So first, let me thank the Moon Sisters for leading the way and Pastor Moon as pastoring the church when the school started. So thank you so much for being with us tonight. I want to thank also the ladies and some men, I believe, too, who have been and who were on the planning committee. They did a beautiful job. But Tessa Maddez and those folks who were on the committee planning this entire event, would you please stand? Please stand. Just give them another hand of applause, please. Thank you so much, Tessa. This morning, I was privileged to be a part of the elementary chapel program at school. And the program was led by our first grade students. And the theme was service. And they did a masterful job, our first grade teachers, in leading them in this themed chapel. And at the end, they sang the song, Amen. And as I stood there, and I looked at those first graders, and then I connect that with tonight's event, I see the leaders now around the world in a host of different occupations, either serving as missionaries in Africa, or as physicians, or as dentists, or as teachers. And I think of those first graders, those kindergartners, those preschoolers, and in my mind I'm thinking, God, what do you have for them? What is your plan for them? I could not stop thinking about that, especially in light of tonight. You know, the school's mission for 50 plus years has not changed. I want you to know that and to take great confidence in that. The Buckholts, the Dr. Lacours, the Wayne Shimkos, they led the way in that mission statement and the motto of the school. You know, there's 5 key words in that mission statement briefly: partnership, equip, helping students to reach their potential, in excellence in everything that we do, in a Christ-centered environment. That was true then, and it is true today. A few years ago, the school board, and I know there's several of them here tonight, the school board carved out some core values to the school that help supplement the mission statement. They are truth, they are excellence, service, and discipleship. And those core values we desire as faculty and staff administration to see implemented throughout the entire curriculum at Northside Christian School. I was thinking earlier today about those core values in our mission statement, and in my office there is a piece of paper that is on the bulletin board above my desk. And it has the date September 26, 2013. And there's a name on that piece of paper. I've had it there for 8.5 years because I promised this student that I would continue to pray for him. September 26, 2013, the young man you saw on the screen, Samari Turner, came to know Christ. And now to watch Samari leave the walls of NCS to go and get his undergraduate degree, his graduate degree in business, and then to return to help Northside Christian School to teach in a host of different ways. That's the mission of the school being carried out in full circle. I'm so thankful for that. The future is bright for NCS. I had an interview 2 days ago with a family who were enrolling their fourth grade child in the school. And the mother looked at me and she said, when I asked, well, what school are they coming from? And she told me, and she then began to tell me, you know, the school where my daughter currently is where my grandmother attended, where my mother attended, where I attended, and where she currently attends. So the obvious question is, well, why are you making a change to come to NCS? And she said, I have 30 plus friends in my circle, and most of them are people affiliated with Northside Christian School. And they all love it. And we wanted to be a part of that kind of community. The future is bright for NCS. We are bursting at the seams with enrollment. We are so proud of our faculty and administration. So thankful for the support of Northside Baptist Church and Pastor Chad. We are looking forward to seeing what the Lord has for us for the future. I would simply encourage you to stay tuned to whatever the Lord may have for us. We want to share with our school community and our stakeholders. It's going to be exciting as we continue to expand the walls of NCS, but more importantly, expand the kingdom of God. Thank you so very much for your attendance tonight. Thank you for being a part of the 50 years of history of NCS. Now, Mr. Nathan Farrell is going to come and lead us in a closing song.
Yeah, if any of the musicians who participated tonight can make their way up there, that would be great. Raise your hand if, at any point, you ever stood in a circle with the rest of the band and sang Seek Ye First after some kind of show, right? It's amazing that goes all the way back. Also raise your hand if you ever found yourself in the aisles of Northside Baptist Church singing Go Ye Now in Peace at the end of a concert or an event. Well, you people with your hands up, we have an opportunity for you right now. This next moment is completely unrehearsed, but as many of you will know, for eons, the tradition has been to end every performance with this benediction, and so we're just relying on nostalgia here. But if you remember how to sing it, you are welcome to stand where you are or sing from your seat, or you can run up here to the stage if you really want to. We'd welcome the company. But we'd like to present this blessing to each of you from the last 50 years to the next 50 years. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for being such a family to each other and to the current generation. We love Northside. Let's sing.